See what ASD is all about this year. It's gonna be exciting for sure.
Hi, I'm Jason Kole with Kole Imports and Closeouts. I'm the VP of Business Development, and today I'll be speaking on the value of looking for closeout deals and why they're important to your business. Hope you enjoy the talk. All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Stephanie. So as Stephanie mentioned, I'm Jason Kole with Kole Imports and Closeouts. We've been in business for 39 years, family owned and operated, based out of Los Angeles, California. We have about 250,000 square feet of warehouse space in LA, and we import over 6,000 unique items, and we're the largest closeout vendor of any kind in the United States. So first I'm gonna go through kind of who we are and what we do, and then I'll go through kind of the reason that closeouts matter, what you should be looking for when you're looking at closeout deals, and then talk about some risks to avoid, and then open up to Q&A. As I mentioned, we've been around since 1984. This coming year is gonna be our 40th year in business. Been in the same warehouse for 35 of those 39 years. We import a wide variety of items, ranging from automotive, crafting, tools and hardware, electronics, home decor, household products, lawn and garden, outdoor living, pet supplies, bed bath, cosmetics, sporting goods, and as you can tell, you can kind of go on and on. We carry almost everything that a normal retail store will carry, excluding food, chemicals, really anything that expires. We carry stationery, kitchen and dining is a big category for us, and we do a lot of closeouts, which we'll get into talking about. We sell into a ton of different varieties of customers. We sell drugstores, grocery stores, sporting goods stores, pet stores. We sell to a lot of FBA companies, discount retailers, family entertainment centers, amusement parks, hardware stores. Really anyone that wants to buy merchandise to resell it, we'll sell it to any company that does that. We sell to everyone from people that sell at swap meets, people that are starting their own businesses, that are opening up new retail stores, all the way to selling to Fortune 100 companies. We sell it to Big Lots, we sell to Dollar Tree, Ross, Goodwill stores, Burlington Coat Factory. Really any discount retailer in the country is a customer of ours. We sell to Mexico, Puerto Rico, we sell to Canada, we sell to El Salvador, South America, South Africa, the Philippines, South Korea. We sell into all parts of Central America and Latin America. We sell to all the island nations. So the reason I'm explaining all this is that we really know what we're doing when we're buying merchandise, and we know what we're doing when we're buying closeouts in particular. So we carry over 6,000 unique items that we import on our own, that we continue to restock, and we sell them indefinitely. We'll buy them again and again as long as they continue selling. We've also bought literally hundreds of thousands of unique closeout products. We are the largest closeout buyer in the country, and what really is our unique space in the closeout world is that we make decisions on the spot. So I give the example that if you're trying to sell a product into Walmart and you wanted to sell them dollar bills at a cost of 90 cents, it would take you weeks to get a PO. There's approval processes, they gotta go up the chain to the VP, that person has to get a budget created. With Kole Imports, when people are selling their closeouts to us, we will buy any size deal immediately, and we'll pay them cash, or really a check, upon delivery of the goods. So we make it really easy for them to get money really quickly from problem inventory. And we'll buy closeouts of all shapes and sizes. We'll buy stickers to pianos, we'll buy Nerf guns, we'll buy electronics of all shapes and sizes. Almost any product category that you see at the show here, we've bought into that product category in really significant ways. So years ago, we were primarily a dollar store supplier. Now as you walk our booth and as you see in some of the closeouts that we carry and the products that we offer, we carry products like this patio swing chair set. Our product line has really evolved over the years to go from being a dollar store supplier, and now we carry hundreds of items that are up to $20 retail and $50 retail. So we buy closeouts up to $100 retail price. We carry some closeouts that are $200 retail price. So we really know what we're doing in terms of evaluating quantities and price points in that world. So the reason I mention all of this is when you're looking at closeouts in particular, there's a lot to consider. So I'll leave it on the closeout slide here. For those of you who have retail stores, you may have regular products that you carry all the time. You may be thinking about carrying closeouts in your stores. So what is the value it brings to your customers? There's a whole bunch of different things to think about in that world. So number one, if you have new products all the time, it really creates like a treasure hunt feel in your store. It gives customers a reason to go back in your store time and time again to look for new products, to find things they may not have seen the first time. Your customers find incredible values. Oftentimes, closeout products you can retail for significantly less than products that you carry on a regular basis, especially on import goods. So if you're carrying closeout products in your stores, you can oftentimes retail them for 50% of what you would normally be able to buy that item for and sell it at a super value for your end customer. The definition of a closeout is any kind of one-time deal that is not reorderable. Those are oftentimes items that you can buy at a really aggressive price that may be under their normal cost or oftentimes under the wholesaler's original wholesale cost. So when we are buying closeouts from our vendors, we are often buying those closeouts at pricing that is a loss for them. So they're selling those closeouts to us at a net loss. That's what allows us to buy those closeouts in such big quantities and offer them at price points that make sense for the retail stores that we sell into to make money in offering those customers that they ultimately buy those deals. When you're looking for closeout values, there's a lot to look for when you're sourcing those closeouts yourself. So for us, we have a team of about 6 closeout buyers that go to almost every trade show in the entire country. We go to legitimately every single trade show that sells merchandise in the United States. Meet with new vendors. We meet with manufacturers. We have a team of people on the ground in China that are oftentimes looking for closeouts in China that we can buy up. But we're a large company. We buy closeouts of all shapes and sizes. We buy almost any sized deal. We buy merchandise of all types. So when our team goes out in the market looking for deals, we're not looking for one particular type of deal. A question that I get asked for often is, hey, can you guys go find some more of a particular kind of an item? We don't really source closeouts that way. We have teams that go out and look for deals of all shapes and sizes, and when they find a person that can liquidate products, we'll make an offer depending on what the price point is. So we're not going out in the market saying, we need closeouts on cutting boards. If you do that, you're oftentimes going to be paying more than you need to because you're going to have a captive vendor that knows you're looking for one particular item. So for us, we go out in the market and we just look for deals. We look for any kinds of deals. So you may see our buying team walking the ASD show. Not only are we the largest booth in terms of selling products at the show, I'd venture to say that we're the largest active buyer at the show. So we're going around to all of the vendors that you may be walking around, seeing the North Hall and the Central Hall and the South Hall, and our buying team's actually in market looking for those deals aggressively at this show. And as I mentioned earlier, we actually pay upon receipt of goods. So as opposed to a retail store like Ross or Burlington, they may pay you at net 30 or net 60. When the goods are delivered to our warehouse, we actually help the vendor by paying them immediately for those goods. So with that, even though they may be losing money on the deals that they're selling to us, it helps them get rid of their problem inventory. It helps them get cash in their pocket. It helps them clear up some accounting issues, and it helps them clear up warehousing issues. So oftentimes the biggest problem in today's market with warehousing expenses being what they are, is people have incredibly high costs of holding goods. If you have goods in warehouses that you cannot sell, it's costing you a lot of money to keep those goods in your warehouses. So if you're looking for a reason for someone to sell you a closeout at a cheap price, offering them the ability to take goods immediately and give them cash is a really beneficial thing for them to help them handle their problems and to solve the reason why they're actually selling that closeout. So with that, even though we are paying people oftentimes under their costs, I like to think that we're really fair with our vendors. So we've been around for almost 40 years now, and we're buying deals at a really aggressive price, and negotiations can get pretty intense. especially when you're buying large quantities of product. But we always really keep in mind, whether we're buying goods or they're selling goods, that you need to build up relationships if you're going to do this for the long term. You want people that are liquidating goods to come back to you the next time they have a reason to liquidate goods. So even though we're in the penny business and we are negotiating oftentimes on half a penny, on 1 penny, on a nickel, but you're multiplying that across tens of thousands of goods, hundreds of thousands of pieces, having a relationship with that vendor where they want to come back to you is so important. Because you can't stay in business for a long time if you're going to do things that are not morally right to your vendors. So even when you're in the closeout business and you're buying things really cheap and you're liquidating people's problems, you need to make sure that you do it in the right way where they feel like even though you're buying things really cheap, they know what value you're giving them and they're going to want to do that again and again. So as I mentioned, we are in the nickel and the dime and the penny business, but while you're doing those tough negotiations, you need to make sure that you're staying really fair with your vendors. So in terms of closeout products, there's a lot of reason to buy them, in terms of what your customers are going to get, but there's a lot of risks with buying closeouts. There's a lot of times where there's reasons why people are liquidating products. So they could have the warehousing issues, like I mentioned. Warehousing expenses are extremely high right now. But if you are not familiar with buying closeouts, you need to make sure that you're very familiar with what product lines you're buying. We would never buy a product category that we're not sure what we could sell it for. So if you haven't thought about what the pricing is of an item that you're buying, make sure that you're very familiar with the price point that you think you can sell it for before you go and buy a closeout deal. Some other areas to be really careful with. Be careful in the packaging. So for closeouts in particular, we personally do not handle any shelf pulls. We only handle new goods. So we don't handle anything that was a return or was sent to a retailer that was returned back to a wholesaler. We don't buy any goods that were damaged or had expiration date problems. So if you're buying closeouts, make sure that you know what kind of packaging it comes in and that you're comfortable with that kind of packaging. Make sure that you're comfortable with any kind of selling restrictions. Oftentimes closeouts will have restrictions on marketplaces you can't sell on. Maybe it says there's a deal that you can't sell on Amazon, or you can't sell it internationally, or you can't sell it in a particular state, or you can't sell it to a particular retailer. You have to know that before you buy a closeout deal. Kole Imports in particular does not carry any trend-driven products. So what I mean by that is there's products related to new movies or TV shows or new games that get hot that are really flash in the pans. Personally, we made the decision that we don't carry any trend-driven products. A lot of companies do, they do very well with them. It's not our business, we know that. So when there's a new trend in the market, we don't carry that trend. We don't want to get stuck thinking that we knew a trend was profitable and then be wrong on that trend. It's a very risky thing when you're buying closeout deals. With that said, if you do buy a trend-driven product, be very careful about making sure that you know what that trend is. Make sure that you know how long that trend is going to last. So as an example, when fidget spinners were popular, we moved millions of units of fidget spinners. Millions of units. But that was a global trend that lasted for years. Now, we wouldn't carry $1 million in inventory on fidget spinners. You would have a very hard time knowing where to sell those. They're not as popular anymore. So if you're buying closeouts, make sure that you know how popular that trend is so you don't get stuck with that inventory. Where are we headed? So Kole Imports in particular, we're growing at an extremely rapid pace right now. We've been in business for 39 years. Next May will be our 40th year in business. And I'm really proud to say that 2023 was our biggest, most profitable year ever in 39 years. So we're continuing to source products from China at a really rapid pace. Our product line is expanding really rapidly. We're getting into higher price point products. We're buying more closeouts than we've ever bought before. And because of all that, we're selling into new retail stores and expanding our market in the retail space. Here's a couple pictures of our showroom. That's the outside of our warehouse. Oops. There's a picture of our shipping department. So we ship approximately 20 full truckloads a day, and we receive in approximately about 15 full truckloads a day of merchandise as well. And with that, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Hi, Courtney. Good question. So we've been buying more closeouts than we've ever bought before. We're buying bigger volume deals than we've ever bought before. And retailers have a real appetite to buy right now. So as we've gotten into new price points and a new selection of goods, we've been able to sell into other types of retail stores, opening other new major accounts that we hadn't sold before. And we're just doing the same repeatable process, kind of bigger and more often. So we like to know what your business is. You know, we carry almost 10,000 unique items in our booth. So if we understand what you're looking for, we can suggest the right items to you. So if you could help us understand what kind of business you're in, we could actually make selections easier for you by pointing out good deals that we have right now that would work for your business model. Sure. Hi, Stanley. I would like to say that we don't, but the truth is we do. You know, I always tell our buying team that if you don't ever have problem inventory that you take on, you're not being aggressive enough in the deals that you're buying. You can't be right 100% of the time. There's no way. So we're evaluating new deals so often and buying such large quantities that I like to think, and I think that history has shown that we're a pretty good team of buyers, but we're not perfect. So there are times that we do have to liquidate our own closeout deals, and when we do that, we sell off at a loss as well. So we're not immune to it.
All right, I'm coming. All right, we're going to need a name and then that question.
I'm Patrick with Liquidation Land, and I'm just curious as to what criteria do you guys use to figure out how long you hold on to an inventory that maybe you purchased 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
At what point or what defines a point where you say, you know what, we have to actually liquidate our own products?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So there's a few factors. So one is how many units we own. You know, so if I own 100 units of an item, it's not as pressing as if I own 100,000 units of an item. It is how many units have I sold already. So if I have 100,000 units, but I'm selling 10,000 a month, I know how long it should take me to sell through it. If I've sold none of them, that gives me a different level of indication. A major factor is the amount of warehouse space it takes. So it's much easier to hold small cube items, meaning items that don't take up a lot of physical warehousing space, because warehousing space costs money. And for us, our warehouse is extraordinarily full. So every single bin location in our warehouse is actually being used, and we have an overflow warehouse that we're actually paying on the side. So for us, if there's a big deal that is taking up physical space that is not moving, that is where our attention goes to liquidate those deals faster. So it's a combination of how fast are you moving the deal and how much space is that deal physically taking, as well as how much money are you making on the deal. So if you have a closeout deal that you're making good margin on, that you are getting through at a slower pace, you may want to keep it, but if you're making really small margin and you have a big inventory, it may be time to get rid of it and go on to the next deal.
And that is a wrap for episode 5. Jason Kole from Kole Imports speaking on unveiling the potential of closeouts. Rest of the series can be checked out here. If you're looking for more videos from Find Wholesale, click here.